Hey everybody, Michael Dieterich here. I'm just a poor boy. We're going to jump right in tonight. This is going to be the newest rage in acrylic pouring world. There's different names for this. The marble pour, the ball pour. Yeah, sorry to my mess of art boys, but they were like, oh, we want to call it the pinball because it's just like a pinball, how it goes ting, ting, ting. Sorry, I'm going to fight with you on this one. It's nothing like a pinball, but we'll talk about that later. We're just going to call it the Marble Challenge. Although tonight I may have to call it something else because I'm not, you know me, I never do things the normal way. So I'm going to do a couple of things tonight. I'm experimenting on a couple of different levels. Number one, for those of you that have been watching lately, since I started pouring again in my new studio after my move, I've had a real problem with my consistencies. I've managed to get by, but I wish I could just get them right. So tonight I've made a concerted effort to really get the consistencies of these paints right. I even took a canvas board, did it diagonal, and I did a little pour test where I would put a little teaspoon on and watch how quickly they went down, and did them for each of the colors. Number one, to see, are they thin enough? And number two, are they the same consistency? And I'm happy tonight. Second of all, for this, I see a lot of people doing this on fairly large canvases for manipulating these marbles, and I've seen it go wrong when the marble's too small, for example. So I'm going to do a couple of different things. I'm working on a 40 by 40 centimeter canvas, that's 16 by 16 inches, which is kind of small for this. But I'm going to see how that works out. I'm really interested. On the other side, instead of using a marble, I'm going to go for a golf ball. I have a feeling that the pits will, number one, help slow the roll down just a little bit and pick up extra paint. And you'll see what that means later. And finally, I'm also working on a 3D canvas tonight. This is a technique that doesn't have a base coat, really. I mean, you'll see what I do later. It doesn't really have a base coat, and I haven't seen anyone prep their edges. And a lot of people say the trick to this is having enough paint on the canvas, but not too much. And I don't see how that can be the case, but I'm going to err on the side of caution, and it might be too much, but I'm going to see if I can get my edges covered with this technique. Yeah, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but let's real quick talk through these perfectly mixed colors. I've got, as usual, a lot of colors from Amsterdam. This is the deep gold, know and love. This is a custom one tonight. I went for a mix of Amsterdam's brilliant green and Lucas Studios Viridian, or it's their brand of phthalo, as they call it. Not even phthalo green, just phthalo. This is from Artist's Acrylic, and this is the blue metallic. Love this color. Beautiful. I'm super excited because this is the carmine red. I have some of this left over from my custom pour for Mrs. B, who I've talked about before, and those two pieces got picked up this morning by FedEx, and they are on their way to England. My first two pieces going to England. This is a lovely color, also from Lucas. This is the fluorescent magenta. I love this. It's really just a hot pink. And finally, interesting, you know that my favorite black is the lamp black, but as I was doing this, then I was like, oh no, I thought I had another bottle, and I didn't. So this is actually a hybrid of lamp black and oxide black, both from Amsterdam. I changed up my recipe tonight. My pouring medium was 60% glue, 20% water, and 20% pouring medium from B.R.Turner.ART. It's very liquid, it's very much like water, but I didn't want to add too much water to break it down, but I wanted to make it more fluid. That seemed to help a lot. And then I went for the ratio. I started with 2 parts pouring medium to 1.5 part paints, which is something I'd read somewhere. But immediately with my first one, I went, oh, it's too thick. So I immediately changed it, and all of the rest of the paints, except for the gold, are 2 to 1. 2 parts pouring medium, 1 part paint, and they seem to work out great. I did have to add to every single one of them a little bit more water and liquid pouring medium to get them a little bit thinner, except for the blue. Now, I did add a little because, like I said, I'm erring on the side of thin tonight because every time I think it's right, it's too thick. So it was pretty much everyone go until it's perfect and then add a little bit more water was kind of my way of working tonight. So this is the 40 by 40 canvas. It is going to have to dry later, so it will be on this table. But this whole technique is pretty much in the air. But I checked earlier, and it seemed that it was not. Oh, well, now it's suddenly. I moved the table, and now it seems like that was the problem. So I have already sprayed my canvas, taped the back. It's ready to go. This pour is going to depend on the ball, but it starts off kind of like a puddle pour, except one like big puddle, there's going to be several puddles. Now, I've seen people like on a canvas, let's just say comparable to this, that they might do 5 and then go, oh, let's add a couple more, or some people might do 9 right away. I'm going to err on the side of caution. I'm just going to start with my first one in the middle. Yeah, I think I'm going to go. For the full Monty. Definitely take the spoon out of that one. Do I want to take a quick chance? I mean, again, it's not going to change really anything, but this does bother me just a bit, so I'm going to give it just a quick tap. Okay, so I took a quick break to get the second camera, and already I see it spreading. Now, I told you I'm working on a smaller canvas, and when I see this, people add a lot of paint to the outside edges so it will flow, and I'm going, wow, I don't really have a lot of room for that. This is going to be messy tonight, but I'm glad I did it this way because I'm working on a 3D canvas. As you can see here, the canvas is larger or deeper than the standard canvas, normally about 1 centimeter to 2 centimeters, and these are 4. So I want to make sure that the corners and the edges get covered. Let's get to it. Here we go. It's gonna be messy. Here's the golf ball. Just gonna plop it, let's see, this edge here. I'll lift. Here we go. Wow, that was fun. And as I said, my hand's pretty covered. Yeah, that's really cool and psychedelic looking. First lesson is, this is going to work great. Second, I didn't need as much paint because I mean, this side is practically covered here. This one you can see is pretty much done. This one also, so it's going to be plenty, yeah? So I guess in the long run, I did make too much paint. Wow. Now, let's talk about something real quick, which I haven't done yet, but I'm going to talk about it. Is look at the paint here on my silicone mat. I'm so glad I used my little FF map tonight, because when this paint dries on here, it will become just a skin, and you can peel that off, and look how pretty that is. You can actually cut that out and use it in resin work. You can make jewelry out of it. There's people who save their skins for artists who use them. Now, I've never used them, but I'm looking tonight and going, if I were ever to save skins for a project, it's here. And that's also why, unfortunately, we're a little bit out of balance with the camera right now. Okay, guys, I took off my gloves and I changed the camera angle to help so you could see this whole piece. This turned out so groovy. I think if I had, again, used smaller puddles, I could have achieved a couple of different things. So, for example, like the pink, I love it, but it's here and here and just a little here. And I have so much green here. I wish that it had been spread more, but I'd lost so much over the sides that you go, oh, this is a puddle, this is a puddle. It was just way too much. Am I unhappy? No. I am going to, real quick, just do a quick lift. I'm looking black corner, covered. Let me just check. Yeah, I mean, this is the easiest time I have ever had covering the edges and corners of a canvas. So that was the good news about this. But I think if I used smaller puddles and manipulated, I get a little bit more even spread of the colors. But again, it's a fascinating piece, and I think if I look at it from a different angle, it's going to be gorgeous. Let's do a quick torch. That's it. I'm done. I'm really happy with this, especially for the first time. I can see like that mixing of that black could have gotten better lines. That's great. With smaller puddles, I could have had a bit more, like these long lines here. I love here, and then here you get quite a bit of that green and gold. If I had a little bit more room. Yeah, but again, I do like these huge pink and black areas here, here, here. I just wish that this one went through a little bit more. That was a little bit more dominant. But again, it depends on how you look. I think if I change the orientation, it's going to change how I look at this painting as well. I will grab the camera and give you a final look at the finished wet piece. So take a moment, guys, to look at this. This is what I was talking about, the wet paint on the end skins. Imagine this in like a pendant or in a ring, or yeah, so many things as inlays, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for this marble pour painting. Just love how some of the colors mixed here. Got this purple I was talking about. That metallic blue is gorgeous. A little bit of cells here in that pink and black. Maybe those two colors next to each other, a little bit challenging for the color palette. They're kind of blending, but I think it also makes it a little interesting as well. Here, I love this area right here. Wow, here. Fantastic. Great, I'll get one shot tomorrow when it's dry. Alrighty, guys, it's actually 2 days later, so it's safely dry now. I've got my table set up for another pour that I'm going to be doing later tonight. This is the dried piece. Now I'm going to let it dry completely, but it's definitely dried to the touch. I can move it. It turned out lovely. I turned off my studio lights and I'm just using the camera light today, but boy, the metallic in the gold and in the blue really dances nicely. I think next time I do one, instead of a black, I might go for a white, and then I'll use one of the Amsterdam pearl colors to get that same kind of effect. You may notice as well, I've turned the piece 90 degrees to the right. When I painted it, it was like this. And I said I wasn't sure about the orientation, and I've looked around, and now this is my favorite. All of this swooping lines going up this way brings the pink much more in balance with each other, and then it gives this the right focus it deserves, I find. So now it's a much more balanced piece to look at. The sides all got covered beautifully, so it's another one of those 3D pieces where I go, nope, you don't frame this. Yeah. Now, what if you say, hey, I liked it better the way it was? That's great. Because as an artist, I want you to be happy and I want you to see what you see. So if you were to purchase a piece like this from me and you were to turn it over this way, you would see the name of the piece, the month and year that I did it, and my signature. And that would tell you that when you hang it on the wall, that's the orientation that I see it as an artist. But I always tell any client, customer, otherwise, I want you to hang the piece. So if you get it home and you go, nope, I liked it when I saw on a thing like this, then that's the way you hang it. Yeah, that's why I don't sign my pieces on the front, because then you might end up with the signature upside down. You know, don't want it. So this is how I ended it. So this turned out great dry piece. Really excited to do my next marble pour. But I do want to show you one more thing before I sign off. Alrighty, now you guys may remember this mess, and you're going, oh my God, you didn't clean that up? No, because I have this lovely silicone mat. Now, I will say I don't have any sort of sponsorships, no kickbacks, nothing. If I like a product, I will tell you about it, just like Amsterdam paints. I love it. This is from Lole Fefe, and if you've been painting for a while and watch a lot of YouTube videos, I'm sure you've seen these silicone mats. They're absolutely fabulous. I actually then pour my piece, and then I have a sturdy piece of cardboard that I slide underneath, and then I can move this away and let it dry, which is why I was able to work on the next piece. Yeah? And people were saying, well, what do you do with these? Well, I'm going to show you. I'm going to switch to my overhead camera. Now, I know it's still wet here, but there's a piece here that's still like dry. So what I do is I just take my finger under, and you'll see I can, oh, there we go, peel up. That's why they call it skins. Peel up, and the thing that's great about these mats is that it will just lift perfectly. Now, because it's still wet, I'm not going to go everything, and I want to get this video out to you, so I'm not going to show you, but you can peel off a large section. I'm just going to do a small section right here, and then you can actually, as well, just use a pair of scissors and cut it. Yeah, you get a piece. This is very small, but again, you get a big swath of it like that. Here, just to give you another example, yeah, this is a black piece that's maybe not as interesting for the jewelry, but you never know. Could be cool for a goth piece, you know. There you go. So you have these, and if you go, you're going to make the jewelry, I suggest looking to someone else. I have not explored that avenue yet. I would rather focus on learning more and more pouring techniques than learn a new technique of like making jewelry and how to use these skins. However, if you know people who do this, they will be very happy with these skins. So it's quite simple. You just take a piece of wax paper, baking paper, and you're just going to place those skins on the baking paper so that they stay there. They won't stick. Let's see, do I have like maybe one more piece? Yeah, that piece is dry too. Now, normally I would save much bigger pieces. Like I said, I was intending to take this whole piece, but then I looked, I was like, oh, that green there is still very, very wet. Yeah, but you can peel off very large pieces of these skins. There's a bigger one. There you go. And then you just place it in between two pieces of wax paper. Good. I'm going to place that there. And you can then just fold the wax paper over. Yeah? This is a great way to save this for friends that make jewelry and to recycle. That's it for this video. I'll be coming to you very soon with another marble pour with some new colors. In the meantime, I'm just a poor boy, Michael Dieterich. Thanks for watching.